What's going on, everybody? What is going on? It is Thursday, June 6th, 2024, and we are back with another midday stream here on the Torian Rain Reloaded channel. If you haven't done so already, please be sure to go ahead and hit the like button. If you are new to the channel, make sure to hit the subscribe button. While you're at it, hit the bell twice to be notified whenever I upload a new video or go live. Shout out to everybody who is subscribed to the channel, everybody who is a member of the channel, everybody on Patreon as well. Shout out to you. Everybody who sends me stories on various social media platforms such as Twitter, Instagram, and also in the Discord, I appreciate you as well. Now, before we go ahead and get into this video, let me go ahead and acknowledge the people who are here so far. So we have Johnny, B, BD Brad, Jerome, Dave, Craig Colson, Lana L, IMV, Hacksign KT, Sucker Free, Denise Scales, Patricia Jenkins, CJ, Terrence Jackson, Dimpleface, Reparations Nations, Key Prince, Miriam R, Lady Messenger, Shrampstein B1, Lana L, Joseph Washington, Dark Titan, Explore, Wallow J, Kid Gravity Beyond, Junior Network, Canera, Letitia, Revolutionary 2, and Lakeisha Mitchell. And shout out to anybody else that's going to be coming in here as we continue to go forward with this stream. Okay, so y'all see by the title, and shout out to J Cage, did y'all see by the title that said Variety Smear Campaign Against Will Smith? I saw this yesterday, and I said, since a movie, Bad Boys Ride or Die, which is the fourth installment in the Bad Boys franchise, technically comes out today because they do like their early screenings on Thursdays, then they do a wide release on Fridays. I said, let me go ahead and just slip this stream in here today because it wouldn't really fit if I did it any other day, like especially the day after. And they asked this question in the beginning of their article, and they were asking, and I'm gonna go ahead and share the screen right quick. Luckily, this is only an article. As Bad Boys 4 hits box office, are moviegoers ready to embrace Will Smith after the Oscars slap? And I saw the response from the people over on X where I first saw this at. And when I tell you, many people were lighting Variety's X account up behind what they said. And rightfully so, because we know exactly what they were trying to imply. It's like, you waited until now to ask this question over something that happened over 2 years ago. Many people have moved on from that situation. Will Smith said what he said. Chris Rock said what he said. It is what it is. People have moved on. But what have I told y'all? Or what have we told you, and which you already know? They're going to hold this over his head for as long as possible. The biggest punishment Will Smith got behind this was him not being able to attend the Academy Awards or the Oscars for 10 years. So what, 2032? Like, they basically gave him a punishment that he couldn't go back there for 10 years. They didn't say he couldn't be nominated for anything or that he couldn't even win. He just couldn't go to the show. And that was his punishment as far as the punishment went. But Variety put this out here to quote unquote remind people of what he did in order, and to my opinion, kind of thwart the box office numbers for this movie. Now, for those of y'all who haven't really been keeping up, the box office numbers for movies this year have been very lacking. I mean, very lacking, especially when people can just wait a couple of weeks for something to go on digital and they can watch it at home, or if they want to wait even longer for it to go to streaming, and then they can just watch it depending on what streaming service or platform that they have. Honestly, I don't think that this year's box office is not going to have their true big hit until Deadpool and Wolverine, and that's over a month from now. And you got to think, you have to wait until over half of the year has gone for you to get your first big, gigantic box office movie of the year. Whereas last year, they were popping up all over the place. You had two $1 billion movies last year. They haven't had $1 billion movie yet this year, and they're already a month and some change into the summer box office, which is usually when the box office makes the most of its money due to like kids and college students being out of school. But now, because there's so many options, that's what cuts into their money. And I kind of figured that was going to happen when the pandemic hit and all these streaming platforms popped up. I said, yep, I think that's going to be a huge dent right there. When it was just Netflix, that was one thing, but then when you got Disney Plus, Apple TV, some other ones out there that are in the streaming game, that cuts right into their revenue. But I just thought it was interesting, excuse me, that they brought this up right the day before or 2 days before this movie comes out. Talk about there not being a coincidence about that, because I don't think that's a coincidence at all. As a matter of fact, when I was looking through the comments section, many people said, oh, now you've given me a reason to go and watch the movie. Some people said, I didn't really plan on going and watch it, but now that you want to say this, let me go ahead and watch it, and I might see it more than once. Now, Bad Boys 4 or Bad Boys Ride or Die is basically the continuation of the third Bad Boys movie. So if you didn't see the third Bad Boys movie, I would suggest not watching this one. Watch that one first and then this one, because this is the first time where the films have continuity, opposed to the first and second Bad Boys, where there were not a continuity thing there, except for just Will Smith and Martin Lawrence characters being partners. That's about it. But the storylines were different. But the storyline with the third one is connected to the storyline of this one. So if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. And if not, there it is right there. It's a continuity thing. So with that being said, hold on. Before I go into it, let me acknowledge these super chats that I can't get that I have. Black Spider, thank you for the 5, and also AB Promotions, thank you for the 4. We'll just round it up to 5.
It's busy up here. Woo! I'm rich! I got money.
All right, so let's go ahead now and get into the actual article itself, because there's a couple of ways that I'm definitely going to tackle this, and how I don't like how they preface this, not even beyond just Will Smith, but I'm gonna go ahead and get into the article and then we'll get into that. Is this what you're gonna do when Bad Boys comes for the box office? If you're a theater owner, the answer is hopefully sell some tickets. Sony's Bad Boys Ride or Die, the 4th installment in the Will Smith and Martin Lawrence led Buddy Cop series, is targeting a $30 million to $50 million from the 3,850 theaters in its first weekend of release. As that Cavernas range suggests, estimates vary greatly depending on whom you ask. Sony has offered the soft 30 million figure, while rivals and independent tracking services believe the 45 million to 50 million range is more likely. Adding to opening weekend ambiguity, the sequel to 1995's Bad Boys and 2003's Bad Boys 2 and 2020's Bad Boys for Life is Smith's first major film to grace the big screen since he assaulted Chris Rock on stage at the 2022 Oscars. Have audience soured on Smith, or will they forgive and forget in favor of another Bad Boys reunion? Now, look at how they preface that. They're basically saying, they're trying to make it seem like if you go see this movie, then you are a bad person, because basically you have forgotten if you've gotten over the slap thing. Honestly, after I did my one video about that, and I only did one video because there was a lot of people at that time, because it was such a trending thing, literally did several, and I mean several, videos about that. Mind you, what happened also around that time, for those who seem to have forgotten, that was also around the same time where Ezra Miller had assaulted multiple people, I think in Hawaii, at some resort. Remember, he had threw a chair at somebody, he had hit somebody. That literally happened the same week, but that did not get covered in the news nearly as much as this did. I saw someone in the chat bringing up Alec Baldwin and his situation. They don't talk about that. Then, of course, you had the whole thing with Kevin Spacey. They barely talk about that. It's like certain people get their dirt thrown under the rug, and it stays there. But let's go to Will Smith and reach back to over 2 years ago and bring this up. Now, the reason why I believe Will Smith still has a career is the fact of the matter is he has longevity. Remember, Will Smith started out in rapping back in the late 80s, and then he went on to do The Fresh Prince that did 6 seasons. It's pretty phenomenal for a predominantly black casted show. And then he went on to do several movies, such as Men in Black, Independence Day. Even though I hate this, say it, Wild Wild West, and several others. He's worked with different production companies. I mean, he has a very lengthy resume, and he always brought in hit after hit after hit after hit. And then this happens, and then they're ready to toss him to the side, almost as if he doesn't exist. The thing of the matter is Will Smith is a black man and a very successful one at that, was not supposed to bounce back. That's the point. Look at what happened with Nate Parker. Nate Parker was on the up and up. He had several movies. Then he comes out with the grand one, Birth of a Nation. Gets wild praise at the Sundance Film Festival. 2 months before his movie comes out, what do? Dig into his past and bring up a case that he was found not guilty of. And then the smear campaign comes in and it ruins not only his movie, but it ruins his career. Then let's go to last year with, of course, Jonathan Majors, a person who's on the rise. You see him everywhere, popping up everywhere. Then that situation happens where he's not even at fault. He goes to trial. He's found not guilty of the major charges, but they just had to find him guilty of something. So they just slapped some bullshit on him. And now he's trying to pick up the pieces of his career. The point of the matter is Will Smith is not supposed to bounce back from a controversy or a scandal. But like I said, because he has longevity and he has a huge fan base, it's going to be hard to really tear him down. They tried to do it with Denzel Washington and them allegations, and they are 0-2 for that because none of them stuck. But that doesn't mean they won't spin the block and try it again. And let's not forget also with Will Smith, he also, with that show Bel Air, they're about to do their 3rd season, comes out in August. And then also Will Smith is working with Michael B. Jordan on that I Am Legend 2 movie. I'm still trying to figure out how that's going to work, considering how I Am Legend, the first one, ended, but okay, fine, whatever. And then when I was looking at images on Instagram and videos of them on the red carpet, seeing Will Smith and Martin Lawrence together again, they look so happy. It was almost like a reunion for them. 2 old friends catching up, having a good time. There was a good spirits. And when I was looking at the red carpet footage, it was a bunch of people out there screaming for Will Smith as if he had just came into the industry all them years ago for the first time again. Like, you had people screaming his name, taking pictures with him. He was shaking hands, signing autographs like nothing had changed. Nobody was bringing up what happened back at the Oscars. Even on the red carpet when they were interviewing him, no one was slick and brought that up because they've gotten over it. They've moved past it. That was then. But you got people over at Variety bringing it up now. And right before the movie comes out. This will do one of 2 things. Let's say their little hit piece or their little smear campaign worked. It will hurt the box office numbers. The flip side is it could help the box office numbers and actually excel past the numbers that they projected. But the thing that really pisses me off about this situation is beyond Will Smith. I look at the people who worked on the film with him. I look at Martin Lawrence. I look at the other supporting cast. Why would you your intentions is to punish one person when at the end of the day, what you were ended up doing is hurting the other cast and crew who worked on the film, because he wasn't the only person working on this movie. But they didn't take that into consideration because, look, his main co-star is another black man who was in controversy himself back in the day. And I do plan on seeing the movie today, much later on, of course, and the review will be going up on Sunday. Meanwhile, you have all these other individuals out here with questionable pasts that are worse, and they're still getting work. And they're still not being asked if their past is going to hurt the numbers. Or should people forgive them? Or should they forget about what happened? I don't think people are necessarily going to forget what happened, because let's be real here, that's going to be something hard to forget. But to make it seem like Will Smith did something personal to us, no. As far as I'm concerned, that issue is between two people, Will Smith and Chris Rock. That is it. See, they put this out here to trigger Black people in particular, and to reignite something with white people. Shout out to Black Light Revelations 2 for being a member of the channel for 15 months.
It's busy up here! Woo! I got money!
I appreciate it. See, this was a reminder. They was like, oh, y'all forgot. Let me go ahead and remind you. Back in 2022, in March of 2022, during the biggest night for actors and actresses and people in the movie industry, during a segment when Chris Rock was on stage, by the way, said something that triggered Will Smith, and instead of him handling it in a mature way, he got up on stage and he slapped this man across the face, and then went back to his seat and began to cuss him out for saying something about his wife. And you want to know what's so interesting? Is when the dust settled with that whole situation, people now understood later on, if they didn't know then, why Will Smith did what he did. I say Chris Rock is not all innocent like people think he is. Because when he did that, all I could think about was that situation when Chris Rock was in that room, the only Black man in that room, and he was sitting with three white men. And he let two of the three say the N-word. And he did not check them. Why? Because he let them do it. And it's been some other questionable things with Chris Rock over the years as well. Exactly. Black Spider says, don't like it when people try to tell me who not to like. And that's what they were trying. That's what they're trying to do here. Like I said, this right here, what Variety did, could possibly have shot themselves in the foot if it goes a completely different way than they think it would by writing this trash headline right here. Here's the thing. Even when Will Smith did what he did, a lot of people still didn't veer away from him after the fact. And let me just say this to Black people, because I saw this comment yesterday too, because somebody was responding to the Variety post. Someone has said, oh, I'm no longer a fan of Will Smith because when he got up on stage and he slapped Chris Rock, he made us look bad. What do you mean he made us look bad? As far as I'm concerned, and no, Will Smith is a party of one. In that moment, I'm sure Will Smith knows he felt he made himself look bad. What did he do to Chris Rock have anything to do with the collective of us? That's the one flaw that as a collective of Black people, we have got to get out of. That is a habit we have to break. Stop this thing of if one Black person does something wrong, it's somehow indicative of everybody else. Because last time I checked, I've never gotten on stage and slapped somebody across the face for whatever reason. I can't speak for everybody in the chat, but I'm sure if someone had done something, that someone's done something in the chat to another Black person, that was something between you and that other person. It had nothing to do with the person next to you or the person beside you or the person behind you. Exactly. I love Big 41. I'm an individual. But it's funny when a black person does something that's successful, then we all want to leech off of their success, even if we had no hand in it. You got to be careful, because when you do that type of talk and that type of rhetoric, it sounds very Dub S-ish, because that's what they do. They like to lump us into that thing a lot. They like to do that a lot. Shout out to Black Spider again for the 5. I appreciate it.
It's busy up here. Woo! I got money.
Appreciate it. But yeah, that whole thing of, oh, when one person does something that makes us all look bad. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. And speaking of stage, I'm sure some of y'all heard about what recently happened at that graduation. I'm going to do a whole live about that. But y'all heard about what happened at that graduation recently? Now, what that white father did, was that indicative of all white people getting up on that stage and embarrassing his daughter like that to get into a confrontation with that black superintendent during graduation? You don't hear white people saying, see, what he did getting up on that stage, that makes all white people look bad. No, you didn't see that. But I'm going to leave that one right there, because I'm going to talk about that in the live, hopefully, maybe, possibly next week. But yeah, I just wanted to get on here and address that. Oh yeah, go look it up, y'all. If y'all don't know what I'm talking about, this just happened. Like, the video went viral, I think, yesterday. I don't know if the graduation probably wasn't yesterday, but it probably was definitely sometime this week. I think the name of the school is called Baraboo High School or something like that. I forgot the name of the school. While it happened in Wisconsin. Yeah. Yeah, he got up on that stage and he embarrassed his daughter like that. All because he didn't want his daughter to shake that black man's hand. Like I said, we'll talk about it in a live next week. I see a lot of people in this chat didn't know about it, so now y'all are finding out about it. Now y'all can go look it up. That way when we talk about it at length next week, hopefully, then we can really have a good discussion about that. But no, you didn't see white people saying, "Oh, he made us all look bad." You didn't see that. So I need black people to stop doing that. That irks me. That is one thing that irks me to infinity, is when black people do that. I hate that. I really do. But with that being said, here's the link, y'all. If y'all have anything y'all want to say about this topic, there's the link right there in the chat. Feel free to come on up. Oh yeah, RD. We're going to go into all of that, because that school has a very anti-black history, even before that situation. But we're going to talk about that too. All right, let's see. Joseph, what's going on?
Salute, Tarian. Salute to the chat room. I'm so glad that this movie is out. I'm glad Will Smith is bouncing back from the controversy that has hit him. Honestly, I was quiet when that situation happened at the Oscars, but honestly, I was saying to myself, I hope he weathers the storm, because there were so many things happening to him that led up to that. And what happened was just really a breakdown, which is like, human. It's like when you hold so much in and you try to play diplomat or try to play peacemaker about it, eventually something is going to happen that's just going to pull that switch, and you can't control what happens after that, but you can control how you handle the situation afterwards. And considering how wild some folks in Hollywood are. What Will did was basically a flash in the pan.
Mm-hmm.
Considering the murder that happened on Alec Baldwin's production, and he's still working as a director. Let's not forget the number of child predators that work in Hollywood trying to ease their way back to work now that the whole quote Me Too fiasco has died down, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's one. Normally you said it best. It's mostly white actors that bounce back from controversy, not black actors. And I'm so glad that Will and Martin have actually broke that glass ceiling. But that nah, this bounce back from tragedy just doesn't go to colored folk. It belongs to more deservingly us, especially since you have a whole media apparatus designed to make sure that we don't bounce back if we don't follow the flow chart of being in the spotlight perfectly.
Right.
So yeah, I hope you enjoy the Bad Boys film. If I don't see it this weekend, I'm pushing to see it sometime next week.
Okay.
Thanks for having me up.
No problem. All right, shout out to Joseph coming up. Next up, we got Cosmo. What's going on?
Yo, what's going on, man? Hey, at work. I just really hope whatever Will went through, I just hope he good from this point on. Because, like Joseph just said, it sounds like he was going through a lot. And my thing is, even though it's no dirt off of my skin, meaning like it didn't make me look bad whatsoever. I just feel bad for him knowing the whole situation that you like, yo, you and your wife been separated for this long. She's been doing this. She's been doing that. People been making fun of you the whole time, and it was just basically it was the Chris Rock was the straw that broke the camel back, and that ain't me capping for Chris, but all I gotta say is like, bro, like if Will Smith was just a regular everyday black man, I'd be like, yo, bro, like you're not making me look bad, but you like, bro, like it's a time and place for that. You handle that. We grown men. We handle that like grown men, but not like I wanted to just ruin his career. Like, oh my God, no, that's not even the case with me and Will Smith and how I feel about him. I say I lost respect for him as a little bit of respect for him as a man, but it's not like I want to ruin his career. Like you kind of look up to people like they got a good solid relationship or so, and they carry themselves a certain way, and I'm just like, I just feel like that wasn't it, but not like a career deadening situation. Like Joseph said, a lot of people have done worse things and stuff, and we have to look at it like, all right, y'all did the right thing. He won't be able to come back to the Oscars for a while. Let him cool down. You know, it's consequences to actions. But nah, it's not like I still want to see that man do well. And that's all I gotta really say about it, man.
All right. Appreciate you coming up.
All right, man. I'll check you later.
Shout out to Cosmo for coming up. Next up, we got Mr. Williams. Mr. Williams, if you are there, I cannot hear you.
Hello?
Okay, I can hear you now.
Okay, my phone went dark. Yeah, I just happened to turn it on and see that you had a live stream. And as soon as I see that, I'm like, here they go. Here they go. They can't leave well enough alone. And it was weird, I was just listening to Harvey. He was talking about the whole Reese thing, and he brought up how they still bring up Serena.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, didn't y'all have John McEnroe? You know, it's just embarrassing for the man. But like others said, hopefully, you know, I mean, like, or I think you said they're still mad because his career still seems to be flourishing, untouched.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going
and just like what I was talking about yesterday. I don't know if you saw the stream that I did yesterday, about when Antonio Brown was checking Jason Whitlock, and he was bringing up Ben Roethlisberger and how what he was doing, and he said he was only suspended for like a couple of games, and he was allowed to come back.
Yeah, Kaepernick takes the knee for police brutality, and he can't come back. You know, you know what's funny? Even though you didn't play the whole clip right away with Jason, whatever his name is, I had to stop listening just because he got on my nerves that much. I was like, damn, God.
He tends to have that effect on people.
I was like, I can't even get through the stream, man. Because I can tell he was fighting so much to be argumentative.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was literally deflecting the whole time. Because the thing is, he had that mirror held up in front of his face because Jason knows that he'd be doing the same exact thing that Antonio Brown was saying. Antonio Brown was basically subliminal saying that you will be one of the main ones doing it. He just didn't come right out and say it. Yeah,
but I kind of get tired of seeing how they treat folks because I actually have forgot about Nate Parker till you brought him up. I'm like, damn, I didn't forgot about dude just because he has literally disappeared. Like ever since that disappeared. Hopefully Jonathan Majors gets things going, off his guilty verdict of running away. So, But yeah, I ain't got too much to say about this. Oh, I will say, let's not forget, because you brought up Ezra Miller, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know if you remember during that same year, he had broken into, don't forget the hotel he also broke into in Hawaii and threatened a couple.
Yeah. Yep. That was the same day. That was around the same time when he got into it with them people doing karaoke, all because the person was singing a song he didn't like.
Yeah, he
threw a chair. He threw a chair.
I'm like, hold on. So Jonathan Majors runs, and because he tried to pick her up, put her back in the truck, that's a charge. Okay.
The reason I say that Ezra Miller got away was because he has the Trinity.
Oh yeah. Oh, and before I say another thing, I did try to make it through the Flash movie. No.
I don't know how you don't even know how you even watch that. I wouldn't even watch that for free.
I decided to reopen my Max for a little bit. I said, let me try. So as long as it took me an hour to go through. I was like, nah, I can't. But anyway, then there was also the break-in, enter-in, the neighbor's house. Then he stole alcohol. I don't know if you remember that one.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Mm-hmm.
And the accused child grooming.
Yeah.
And I'm like, quiet. They are quiet. But hopefully the movie's good. I'm going to probably have to wait till it actually comes out because I'm very impatient sitting in theaters.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I am really waiting to see is Deadpool 3. Like, that's pretty much all I care for the year. Mm-hmm. I'm going to try to see Bad Boys 3. I just got to build up patience to sit in the theater that long because I already know it's going to be over 2 hours. And are they going to bring a lot of the old crew back from the third one? Do you remember the new team that he had with him?
Yeah, I think they're there because, like I said, this one is a continuity of the previous one. This one is literally a continuation of the last movie.
Okay, because I remember at the end of it, he went back to his son. I guess they're gonna have him work with him after he killed out.
Yeah, the actor playing his son is in this movie.
Okay, I was just kind of laughing like, so they're gonna have him help him after he done killed 3-4 cops. Okay, cool. Okay. More power to you, but we kind of seen it coming, So it's good that he got his 4 movies in, and hopefully he continues his success, and hopefully Martin. Cause I've been seeing stuff on Martin. Hopefully, whatever he's going through, because I think I seen where he was doing an interview, people was worried, but found out I guess someone close to him passed too. So hopefully Martin, gets over what he's going through. Also, after all the movie premiering is over, so they can finally take time off and kind of mentally rest. So I wish them both well. Well, all right, sir. I'll talk to y'all later.
Appreciate you coming up.
Live stream. All right, bye.
Shout out to Mr. Williams for coming up. Next up, we have B1 Brand. What's going on? B1 Brand, if you were there, we cannot hear you.
Hey, what's going on?
Okay.
Sir?
Okay, I can hear you. What's going on?
Yeah, what's going on, brother? I met you at the rally 2 years ago.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. I want to state that with this situation with Will, I'm not going to lie to y'all. if this, I feel like this man need to. If you want grassroots support, I believe he should. He make some type of contribution or something like that. I ain't sold on him yet. For him to have that much smoke for another black man, to try to embarrass him on live TV when it's been like history of other people of other ethnicities, then try to do certain things to him. Even with the reporter smacking him and everything, for him to go to the extreme like that, to try to diminish that man, to diminish that black man. I ain't really sold on him yet. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm really saying, like, I don't know, we might watch the movie on a Fire Stick, or we might not watch the movie at all.
Well, here's the thing.
I ain't a full supporter of him.
Well, here's the thing. Like I said, I don't know when you came in to the live, but like I said, what happened between Will and Chris Rock is between Will Smith and Chris Rock. Will Smith didn't slap us.
Right.
So at the end of the day, what does he owe us, and what do we owe him? Nothing.
We don't. Yeah,
Nothing.
yeah. He don't owe us nothing, and we don't owe him nothing. So I just ain't really sold on Will yet. I ain't really sold. I ain't really ready to accept him back yet. I ain't gonna lie to you. I just ain't really accept him back yet. I ain't gonna lie. It's you gotta show some type of sympathetic. And what better way to do that? Hey, look, what find a way from Philly. Find a province area in Philly, or something like that needs some help, and get the cameras out there and let them. Hey, you need to see. We need to see him doing something. I don't see no sympathy really from him like that, so I ain't really sold on him like that. You can keep the movie. Hate to do Martin like that, but I ain't rocking with it.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, B1.
G1. All right, next up we got Cuz I'm Mike. I don't even know who this what's going on.
Before we start, you should go downstairs and get a Coke and smile.
I kind of figured that this was you, but the reason why I was asking is because I wasn't sure if I saw somebody else up here trying to do the same thing.
Come on, you know it's me. I got to troll you whenever I catch a live. You know this. This is gonna be a forever thing. You're my forever rival on this YouTube thing.
Wow, what's going on?
No, I'm about to go see this movie in about 3.5 hours. It's gonna be fire.
Right. Yeah, like the one I'm going to starts at 4. Yeah, starts at
I'm going at 4:00 too.
Wow, what a coincidence.
There you go. Because I said I'm not going at 7:00 when everybody get off work. I'm not going.
Oh nah.
Yeah. And my theater, like I said in the chat, my theater is about 60% full, so I don't gotta hear no excessive yelling and like, oh shit. I don't need to hear all that. Like I'm gonna go in there like a screenwriter. I'm actually gonna sit up there and watch that movie. I know some bullshit's about to happen in there. But we'll see. But this article, man, I think the Summer of Will is starting to come back.
Yeah. Because the thing is, like I said, like I was saying earlier, he's not expected to bounce back from that. And they wrote that as a quote unquote reminder, like, oh, did y'all forget? Well, let me just throw this in here just in case y'all did, to jog your memory.
Yeah. It's like, okay, y'all try to get at him for King Richard, it didn't work. Y'all tried to get at him for playing the Haitian slave.
I remember that.
Yeah, they tried to get at him for playing the Haitian slave. That got good reviews. So I mean, Will Smith is kind of like, he's like a better version of The Rock. He like plays himself, but at least he has the dramatic chops for it.
Mm-hmm.
Let the man live. He's like 50. He's been doing this since he was a teenager. Let him live. It's okay. Have a Coke and a smile.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's funny you said it, because they had dropped a trailer for this new movie that George Clooney and Brad Pitt.
I saw it.
And somebody had brought up, they was like, it's funny, Variety didn't write a piece about Brad Pitt considering the stuff he was going through with Angelina Jolie and those kids.
Mm-hmm. And how you heard about his kid dropping his name, right?
Dropping his name, yeah. The daughter, right? The black daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she doesn't have Pitt at the last at the end of her name. She just goes, her last name is just Jolie. She dropped the Pitt.
Mm-hmm. So it's like, what the hell? But haven't you noticed not everybody's doing buddy cop movies now or buddy movies now?
Oh yeah, and exactly a lot of them, and not even just buddy cop, but like just the buddy thing, no matter what the genre is.
Yeah. And there's also rumors that they're gonna do Lethal Weapon 5.
And look at that, Mel Gibson.
They said one last hurrah. Woo boy! All right, well, you know what? You got Will and Martin, and you're gonna have Eddie in a few weeks. I mean, let the cops be good for a little bit, fucker. But anyway, this is gonna be a fun movie. I hope.
Right.
Yeah, I'll do a review on it after I get out. I ain't gonna spoil nothing. I promise.
I'll try not to.
Well, you doing yours on Sunday, so
yeah. Well, I mean, I usually record it the day of, but then I just upload the video on Sunday.
Yeah, we gotta be careful. but it's hard, especially if it's like really good. He's like, yeah, I gotta go see it because I can't tell him that part. I'll tell him the whack parts. But anyway, I'm gonna go finish out my day and get ready for that. But remember, everybody, go get a Coke and a Smile, and a bag of and a pack of tropical fruit Bubblicious and some Skittles.
All right, thanks for coming up.
Yep.
Shout out to KG. Next up, we got who is this? Vlad Determined Hustle. What's going on?
Not much, sir. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
I got to tell you, amazing live as always, and I'm actually glad I was able to catch this one. I've been kind of spotty for the last few weeks, but you do amazing work, and you're funny, but you're informative, and it's like a combination of the two.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you, I hadn't seen any of the Bad Boys movies, but now that Variety is saying that I probably shouldn't see it, now I'm tempted to grab my brother and go see this movie.
Wait, you haven't seen any of them?
I have not seen any of them.
Yeah, you might want to do that first. you might want to go and watch from the first one on down. They're good movies. They're good movies.
All right. Well, now that Hollywood media is basically saying that I shouldn't, I'm tempted to just do the whole thing now.
Yeah, I would say just watch 1 through 3, and then watch this one. Don't jump into watching this one because you're not going to know the story.
All right, I tell you, but I just want to basically come on, say kudos to you. You inspire me, sir.
Appreciate it.
Have a good day.
Thanks for coming up. All right, before I bring up the next person, let me acknowledge this Prince of Paraphernalia. Shout out to you becoming a new member of the channel, and also Chemical 7 for the 149 super sticker. I appreciate that.
Damn.
It's busy up here. I got money.
Lisa, you said what year did the first Bad Boys come out? The first Bad Boys came out in 1995. That's crazy. Almost 30 years. 29 years. All right, next up we got AW1. What's going on?
Yeah, what's up, Torian?
What's going on?
Not much. Getting better every day. Gotta tell you, it's funny how they just tell us not to watch it, and then they just tell us not to watch it to try to say, oh, don't forget what he did.
Yep.
And
go ahead. Yeah, my bad. When I saw that, I was like, really? And the thing is, they did it right before it comes out. Like they did it like right, they do it right before it comes out. It's like, okay. And the thing is, I looked around like different places that are talking about this movie. Variety is the only publication that wrote that. No other, like none of those other, entertainment blogs, well, not blogs, but places like Variety wrote something like that. Variety was the only one that did it.
Well, I'll tell you this. Well, in a couple weeks, I'm not gonna watch it today like you guys are, but I am gonna check it out in a couple weeks. So I got plans now to watch it.
Cool.
Yeah, and on top of that, think about this. You mentioned wait. Are you serious? They gonna do Lethal Weapon? They gonna do a Lethal Weapon movie?
That's
Mel
what
Gibson and Mel Gibson, Danny Glover were old when they did the last one.
That's what KG said. I didn't hear nothing about it. Maybe they are. I'm not entirely sure, but let's see if Variety writes a hit piece like that about Mel Gibson. And
they won't.
We know his history. His history is very public.
Yeah, we know they won't, man. But yeah, I'll say this again. Shout out to you. Thanks for keeping us informed, man. And be one and keep doing you.
Appreciate it. Be one.
All right.
Shout out to AW1. Next up, we got Xavier. What's going on?
Hey, brother Torian.
What's going on?
You can see my brother. B1. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, okay. So, I didn't really catch the stream at all. Like, I put a notification up, but I fell asleep. And I woke up at the tail end. But I think the gist of it, this whole Will Smith thing, I thought it had died down, actually. Personally,
it did. It did. Like before today, when I decided to talk about this, when was the last time you heard about this?
I never. That's the thing. It's been a while, actually.
Exactly.
I haven't really thought about Will Smith. I mean, maybe his wife, and honestly, my issues are more with her than with him. To be completely honest, because I feel like whatever issues he's having, she's the cause of it. But then but then I can't knock the man. The man has done his best, and he has pretty much been on code. To be fair, I can't really he's also been a major part of most of our childhoods, especially those of us who grew up, watching his all his stuff. So I think at the end of the day, the white media, they just always want to do that thing where they're like, get these Negroes in line, and if you step out of line, we punish you. No, there's no safe space for you, but for white people like the previous caller mentioned, like Mel Gibson, for instance, he's done some really fucked up shit, like anti-black shit too, and yet they're still willing to give him like he's still getting work. I mean, don't get me wrong. Before the whole anti-black stuff, I also like Mel Gibson, but then, to find out that he had that whole thing, I was like, nah, fuck it. But they are willing to give him what's it called, redemption. So, man, I say it's awesome that as Black people we see we still at least stand behind our heroes. And I mean, the last Bad Boys movie, I was really I liked it, but it didn't really do it for me like that. I still say Bad Boys 2 because that's the first Bad Boys movie I ever watched. I still think Bad Boys 2 is like the height of that franchise for me, anyways. But I just despite I'm definitely gonna go out and watch this particular one. And judging from the reviews, it seems like it was it's still on point. Like it's still really good. The two brothers actually brought their A game in, and it's gonna be a fun time. The white media can try as they might to bring this man down, but he's still the prince, and there's I'm still gonna, at least hopefully he doesn't do anything off code. I hope not, because man, these days you just never know. Morgan, I'm still trying to recover from Morgan Freeman's BS, but man, I just hope he doesn't do that. But anyways, that's all I got really. But thanks for bringing me up.
Appreciate it. Thanks for coming up. Shout out to Xavier. Next up, we got Pinky. What's going on?
Hey, first, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you.
Okay. Now I just wanted to say that when it comes to Variety posting this, I think that this is kind of their last ditch into trying to get people to not see the film, only because, like you said before, in the first 6 months, a lot of these films that came out with PC leads have not been making money.
They
So
haven't.
so now that you got Will Smith and Martin Lawrence doing something, a lot of people are hyped up to go see that. And it's funny how you got two black men restarting a trend of doing partner films, only to be followed up with George Clooney and Brad Pitt, proving who the trendsetters of the world really are.
Yeah, and also too, going back to what you said, remember at one point in time it was an old stigma, but then Black Panther came out and it completely knocked that one out of the water when they tried to say movies with black leads don't sell. Remember that one?
Exactly. Yeah,
That
absolutely.
was a trope they pushed and peddled for years.
Yes. And let's also not forget, you got A Quiet Place Day One coming out with Lupita as the lead. I saw the trailer, and I'm not gonna lie, I was really hyped up for it. You know,
I like
seeing
and I like those Quiet Place movies. I really do.
yeah,
Those are some good movies, and I'm definitely
yeah.
looking forward to this one as well.
No, exactly. And the thing is, the first two I saw at home. I'm actually thinking about, because my family, we saw the whole thing at home, and then when we saw the trailer with her, my son was like, "Mom, can we see this in the theaters?" I'm like, we'll see. But seeing her face up there, just dealing with that, honestly, it literally just we were
Mhm.
hypnotized by it. You're not seeing
Especially since you don't see a lot of I guess you can say black actors in leads in those type of movies.
exactly, and that's the problem. I think now the other issue, and I'll be quick about this. The thing is, I don't know how much money, how much disposable income Hollywood has left, but at this point, they're gonna have to, you know, I think they're starting to realize that PC leads is not where it is, with the exception of Deadpool and Venom, because those trailers did look good. But after that, what else do you have? Because I honestly believe that this Brad Pitt George Clooney movie will not do as well as Bad Boys.
Right.
So something has to change, and I honestly believe that they don't like the fact that they have to change it. So
Yeah.
they're bringing up Will Smith's past to try to stop people. Again, right now Variety is the only one, but if other people were to follow up, they probably will get the same type of what's the word, they'll get the same type of slack that people are throwing at them now. But
Yeah.
it's just a lot of people don't want to see that anymore. I mean, last year was last year. This year, the past 6 months, nothing has really stuck out as far as anything that looks good as far as film wise, with the exception of this Bad Boys trailer, and for me, the Quiet Place trailer.
Right. And both ironically both come out in the same month.
Exactly. But you know what? Well, I guess we'll see what happens. If you see it, I can't wait for when you see it. I can't wait for the review.
Appreciate it.
All right, no problem.
All right, thanks for coming up. All right, that shout out to Pinky for coming up. And the last person we got for the day is the person who usually the first person up here, but now they're the last person. So it's a little a little shift in the events. Wallow J, what's going on?
What's good, Tori? If you're not first, you're last. I'm last today. Sorry about that. I don't know, my YouTube, my Bluetooth won't connect into the phone. I was like, Lord have mercy, I'll be last. Fuck it. But they basically gave everybody the reason to go see this movie. That's how stupid. Like, they don't think, because they kind of feel like people should still be in their feelings about Will Smith. That only thing that happened was between Will and Chris Rock. And so the call that called up before KG, get out your feelings, man. Because they had nothing to do with you. He don't have to do nothing for me to make me feel better about myself for what he did. Will Smith staying 10 toes down on protecting his stupid ass wife, and we all gonna call her stupid because we don't fuck with her. God knows I don't fuck with her. I pray for them kids, but I don't fuck with her at all. But they basically gave everybody a reason to go see it. I might not be able to see it this weekend. I might go next weekend to go see it because I got something to do this weekend. But I will listen to the reviews. KG, don't spoil it, and I know you're not gonna spoil it. But it's gonna be the highest selling movie this year, along with Deadpool and Wolverine. It's going to be up there because there's nothing good out.
Right.
Like,
and I don't know if
nothing.
y'all. And speaking of Will Smith, I don't know if y'all remember back in the day, they gave Will Smith the title of the summer box office king because
Yep.
back then he was releasing a lot of movies that came out in the summertime because they were very profitable. I mean, when he was doing Independence Day, Men in Black, in different movies that came out in the summer.
I Robot.
Bad Boys, I Robot, Bad Boys 2. All of those movies came out in the summertime, and those movies all made bank. And that's when they gave him that title of the summer box office king. So now it's like, can he revitalize that title? Because technically, this movie is a summer movie. And what I found to be very interesting is the last Bad Boys movie came out in January. January is considered to be a dump. January is considered to be a dump month. That's where they put a lot of the movies that seemingly don't do well. That movie actually did well financially. You would have thought that it came out in the summertime, but financially it did very good. And I think it's because there was so much of a time gap between the second one and the third one, but people actually went and saw it. And who would have thought 2 months later we would have ended up being in a worldwide shutdown? So literally that movie became by default one of the most successful movies of that year.
Right. And then people don't know Will Smith is, I think they say he's one of the only actors to make almost $100 million on a lot of his films. I think they kind of forget that, and they don't want that to happen again because they feel like if he can bounce back from this, which I think he will, and I think this is going to be, it'll be the highest selling movie this weekend. I'm already going to claim that right now. I think a lot of people will probably agree with that.
I think for without the shadow of a doubt, that's going to be by default that this movie is going to be number one. It's just the fact of how much money is it going to bring in. But I think being number one, people like already know for a fact it's going to be number one. It's just the fact of what's the gross going to be.
I think it may hit I don't think he's going to get 100 million this weekend, but I think before they pull out the movie, it'll be around that mark. I really, really do, because if it wasn't for this, we already know what would have been number one. It would have been that Spider-Man movie that's coming out next year. That was supposed to be coming out this year.
Yeah, well, thanks to the writer strike, you know why.
I'm still mad at Tony. You can hear by the time I'm still mad about that. But that's another topic for another day. But I'm gonna drop down. B1 everybody.
B1. All right, shout out to Wallow J for coming up, and that was the last caller we had taken for the day. Shout out to everybody that came in and lended their voice to the topic at hand. Shout out to everybody who contributed. Black Spider, AB Promotions. Shout out to Black Life for being a member for 15 months. Also, the Prince of Paraphernalia for being a new member, and Chemical 7 for the contribution as well. I greatly appreciate it. We will be back on here tomorrow with the premiere video. I think, like I told y'all yesterday, the premiere video that I'm doing tomorrow and the live that I'm doing at 6 are going to be on the same people. They're going to be on the same people, but y'all will see who it's on when I put the windows up for both of those later on today. It'll most likely, of course, be when I get back from the movies, and then I'll put it up. But with that being said, y'all enjoy the rest of your day. Shout out to the replay gang. If y'all weren't in here to catch the live, I appreciate you and your contributions as well. Be safe and be one.